Hey.
Yo, yo, yo.
What up?
Happy
What's
Thursday,
up?
everybody. What's up? So, happy Thursday, everybody. It's the last Thursday in the month of July, and July is going out with a fight, y'all. We are in our fifth day of our third heat wave. I'm super excited. But anyway, welcome to Root Access Live. We are your hosts. I am your girl Coco. I got my brothers to the left and the right, Mr. Root and Jinx. We got another dope show for y'all tonight. We're
Hey.
gonna talk about Ellen DeGeneres and how she's under fire right now. We hope to get to Mackenzie Scott and her philanthropic moves. Biden's VP and the death of Herman Cain, 45 and more. But ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm a little excited, probably nervous and overwhelmed at the same time, but we have yet another phenomenal guest tonight. Another one for the books. You hear me? A man with a catalog so massive. I mean, Grammy nominated, Stellar
Massive.
Award winner, author, the legendary Richard Smallwood. Yes,
Woo.
ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Total Praise himself will be joining us tonight. So, thanks for tuning in to everybody. I want to go through our social media drill before we go any further. If you are new here, welcome. And please like and subscribe to all of our platforms at Root Access Live. Also hit the share button, if you will. Thanks to everybody who's in right now. All questions, concerns, and comments can be mailed to us at Root Access Live. And remember, we are live and we are reading the comment section as well. So we will be engaged. But with all that being said, you ready, Jinx? You ready, Root? Let's
I'm
go.
Yes,
ready.
sir. Yes,
What's on
ma'am.
y'all feet today? Since y'all want to play so much.
Oh,
Oh, you got excited. You got excited.
no, no. This is actually probably a repeat. I like these because they're comfortable. Air Max again. See, I don't sport Air Max, but I do.
This is good.
These, but it's a
Maybe
Supreme
we should.
collab. It's a Supreme collab, but it's still an Air Max shoe. Look
Okay.
at that. Look at
It
the
is an Air
intricacies
Max.
in this shoe.
It's
Look at
beautiful.
the intricacies, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
in the
and
Air Max family with rock 9.7s.
look at
Always
that.
nine
We
seven.
nine
Nine
sevens.
sevens.
It's
Very
beautiful. I love
important.
9.7.
9.7s. You know.
Okay. Now,
That was
I'm
a
a
good
big
year.
fan of nine. I'm a big fan of 97s myself, but I keep telling y'all I'm not gonna play this game with y'all every week. It's too hot outside for me to be wearing sneakers. So your girl got on these moccasins right here today.
I
These
seen you.
tie up.
Oh, she got the Jesus sandals.
Yes,
Okay.
I got them good old Jesus walks on. Take me to the Kings 97s.
I like.
No, I'm just kidding. But
I
yeah, no,
like.
it's a little too hot for me to be wearing sneakers. And I don't know if y'all know, but your girl has been out in the waters chasing fish lately. So they call me the cute angler these days. That's been what I've been doing. So yeah, I've
Okay.
been hot and my toes need to be out.
Y'all ain't
So
acting right.
that's what's
No, it's
on my
hot.
feet. Look
It's
at
been a really hot week.
It's been
yeah, I
an
just
extremely
told y'all
hot
we
week.
was in our fifth day of
Heat wave.
our third heat wave. Yeah, so it's really cooking out there. So
Hmm.
but I want to jump right into it though. Let's jump right into the pot. Is your girl Ellen a target for the cancel culture? Well, if you don't know,
Yeah.
she's become really popular this season. Speaking of like this COVID-19 season and claiming the title of villain of the year. What do y'all think about that? Like she's been reported that, it's been reported that Ellen is not the person she portrays to be. And we all know the bubbly Ellen DeGeneres, always dancing, smiling, cracking jokes, but I guess that's her representative. What do y'all think?
I mean, this was a shock to me. She's really under fire. The whole show is under internal investigation.
Hmm.
Actually, 10 former staff members claim to be victims of bullying and racism.
Wow.
And this is something that needs to be taken seriously. We're in this cancel culture, so you
Hmm.
have people like, of course, R. Kelly and Weinstein and others.
Hmm.
And again, it's an even playing field at this point. So if these men can be held accountable, if stuff like this is going on under her watch, or even if she
Right.
has something to do with it, yeah, she needs to be brought, I guess, to the pulled to the carpet regarding this. A quote. from the story, they said she could be perpetrating one of the biggest frauds in American celebrity history.
Wow.
They
Is
are
that
now serious investigators looking into allegations, findings of what's happening at the Ellen Show, and they say more people are probably going to come forward. So this is nothing to be taken lightly. And again, she can. This can be an ending of her show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more of an abuse kind of thing I think going on, like verbal abuse, and then her with cracking jokes and even with the guests that have been on the show, lately. I think Vita was Vergara of the Modern Family was on the show once, and
Oh,
she said
Sophia
to
Vergara.
Sophia Vergara was on the show, and she said something really nasty to her, like, "Oh, after 10 years, your accent is just getting worse," just stuff like that. Like, and then she was saying how in this pandemic, she feels like she's in jail, like,
Oh
and
yeah,
she's
yeah. She
locked
was
up in
brought.
this mansion, and it's nowhere near jail, and right now that's really not something to play with. In jail, that's one of the worst places or the fastest growing COVID-19 places right now growing. So you definitely don't want to play with that. She's like, how she's locked up in prison when in all actuality, she's in this mansion, with her close friends, family, a chef. We're out here struggling. And then, a lot of the things that she was saying, they were also talking about how, she treat her staff members. I don't know if either of you know, but she does not have a great medical health plan for her staff. So one of them began a fundraiser, and she got mad, and her staff got mad and made him, diminish his fundraiser, saying that it would destroy the brand and not really even caring about his health benefits or
Oh
his
wow.
health. So there's a lot going on. Also, her wife. They were saying that she had went into a mental state one time, mental hospital, and that Ellen was the cause of it. So apparently we've been meeting or been seeing the representative of Ellen DeGeneres, and it's sad because I really liked Ellen as well.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because a lot of what happens with the gay community is they will oftentimes side with and have the same ideas that the black community has, minority communities. So from hearing this that Ellen was, conducting these kinds of behaviors or portraying these kind of behaviors, it kind of struck me because she's a part of that that gay community, and so it's like, wait a minute, are you really doing this when you
Right,
Good
are
point.
someone who is treated unfairly for your sexuality all the time, right? So
right,
it's interesting to me how you can you know press for rights on one side but yet be neglecting rights of others on the
of
other
others.
side. So
Good
it's
point.
Exactly.
very interesting to me that this would even be a topic of discussion for Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, you think about, Mr. Root, you said it best, how she's always bubbly, she's always
Hmm.
excited. When the show comes on, she's dancing, she's,
Right,
jovial, and it would appear that everything is everything. But
right.
there's an old saying, what's done in the dark will come
Will
to
come to
light.
light. That's the truth,
Yes,
And
man.
sir. That
and
is the
and
truth.
and in this cancel culture, people
Hmm.
are now more emboldened to talk about
Right,
what's going wrong in these areas that has been hidden. And so
right.
Yep.
I'm telling you, this is something, while it's surprising me, the person that we're talking about, the subject matter does not.
Yeah.
And then, but then again, I mean, we are in the cancel culture period or era, like you said. But and what I was reading and while I was doing my homework, I did read that her contract actually isn't up until 2021. So it's gonna be rough, trying to fight that. But I mean, she has lost, I think, maybe 14% of her viewership so far.
That's
So
huge.
she's gotta get, yeah,
That
that's
is
a
huge.
14%
That's
is
huge.
a lot. So she's got it to get it together on that one. Sorry to hear that. And like I said, I hope all goes well for her. But right is right, wrong is wrong. You can't be out here doing stuff, and you got to be. If you want to be the change, if you want to see the change, you got to be the change. And like you said, you can't fight for just one thing and you can't be one sided. But let's move right along. We want to talk about President Biden, who we all know, like I said, is the most popular
Well,
candidate candidate for the
He's
2020
almost
election
he
this
may
year.
be president. He not the president yet.
I said most popular presidential candidate.
No, you called him President Biden, but I guess
Oh,
you're
I'm sorry.
speaking
Speaking by
I'm
faith.
speaking into an existence. That's all. But anyway, there's been talk about his VP selection and him making it a black female. And not to be biased, but I totally love it. I'm all for female leadership, and it definitely wouldn't hurt if she is a woman of color. So there are like 10 women. Don't start, Jinx. There are like 10 women, who
Don't do it, Jinx.
runnings now. And I don't know what you all think. Go
The
ahead.
people are gonna start to
It's
think
too
that I
hard.
hate women. Like this is what
They're
Coco,
gonna
you're
think that,
doing
right?
this to me every week, and the people are gonna start to think like, what's wrong with Jinx? Like you're gonna have my wife come down into my studio and say, is there something that you and I need to talk about? As much as you come at me when it comes to these kinds of topics.
Well, I think you need to talk to your facial expressions because they don't have a library voice. Every time I speak of a highly recommended or someone of color who is a woman, you always roll your eyes or you turn your face up. So
Now,
it's you, it's not
this
me.
is this is recorded. I'll make sure I go back and watch the lie that you just told.
Oh Lord,
Oh
I'm not in
Lord.
this fight today.
I'm gonna
I
let y'all
can't.
go ahead. I'm gonna take I'm a backseat this one. Let me hear what you think about these
Good
women,
idea.
or let me hear what you think about the VP selection.
So I believe that it should be someone who's very popular as it relates to what's happening in society right now. I do believe that there are several women who are capable and also qualified for this position. The concern that you have when you're going into a presidential election is you want to strike someone who's hot. And right now, my concern is I don't know if there are any African American women who are on the quote unquote right side who are hot right now as it relates to the public opinion. Because let's be honest, the public opinion is very important when you're running for the highest office in the country. And so I would love for someone like Keisha Lance Bottoms out of Atlanta. The only problem with that is people can really begin to speak negatively about her because of what's happening with the COVID-19 pandemic in the city that she's a mayor of. And a lot of people can say it's not her, it's the governor. I get that. And I'm with you on that. But I just don't want there to be anyone who can say, oh, if so-and-so can't handle a city, what makes you think she can handle being the vice president of a country? Then you have Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams is who I would love to see as Joe Biden's running mate. Stacey Abrams, as we all know, won that race in Georgia to be the governor. We know she won that, but there was some things that happened on the back end. There's some funny business that caused her not to have that seat. But someone like Stacey Abrams absolutely is
I
somebody
agree.
who would be great for that position. And another person, and I'm going to digress, and I know someone said no Harris, but the reality is Kamala Harris would be another great pick for a vice president position.
I agree with that as well.
Because, number one, she has been a prosecutor and she's known for being tough. She knows the laws. She knows policy. And let's keep it a buck on the Root Access Live show. She will eat Mike Pence up in debate.
The debate.
She will
Eat
eat
him up.
him
Absolutely.
up, spit him out, and do it all over again on every single topic. So
Because she ate Biden up. She ate
because she
Biden
ate
up.
Biden up. She ate Biden up. She absolutely did. So I don't want people to think that I don't want to. I would love to see a black woman in that position of vice president, but I just don't want it to be the one that the masses want him to pick. I don't want it to be because he's riding the Black Lives Matters movement. I want him to pick the right candidate who can do the job the right way.
I felt like that statement when you just said I would love for a black woman to see that. I felt like that was a woman. I mean, a person of Caucasian descent saying Black Lives Matter. That's how I felt right now. I felt real proud just now. I felt real proud. But like you said, both of those, Keisha Lance Bottoms and Kamala Harris, are in the top 10 runnings. Stacey Abrams, which I think we all agree on the same thing. We're all agreeing on that. She's not even in the top 10. I don't think that she's even, being considered right now as a candidate for the VP race. But like you said, no, she didn't win the gubernatorial race. However, she could have, but you just used the word not too long ago, maybe 5 minutes ago. She used the word, she digressed. She fell back, and didn't want to fight the race. There were some technical difficulties going on during that time, and she didn't want to wait for the recount. They didn't want to do a recount. So she definitely could have won. I totally believe that. She's definitely knowledgeable on all platforms, on all topics. Like she is superb in that area, and I would definitely trust her with the company, with the country as vice president of the United States. I would totally with that. But the top 10 women, I guess those are the best, for that he's seen thus far. It's mixed, all over the country. We got female from Rhode Island. We have Tammy Baldwin. We got Elizabeth Warren, who's back into the picture. We have a young lady named Tammy Duckworth. Karen Bass from California. She's a congression. She's in a congressional seat in California. So he's gonna have a rough time. And like you said, you just pray that he picks the best one. Oh, Susan Rice is definitely up there. Lonnie Applewhite says Susan Rice. Susan Rice will be the next VP. So all I can say is there is a list. You can go on CNN.com and check that list out. And let's just read up on everybody and pick the best. May the best lady win.
Hey, Mr. Root, let me ask you this question. I know that he said that he probably wouldn't. But what would you say about Cuomo from New York?
I think Cuomo will be great. I think that's a sure win if he was to get Cuomo. I don't know that Cuomo would do it.
Right.
But at this point, man, I wish it would. Hey, if Kanye's running for president, hey, Cuomo, put your name in the hat at this point, like to be president. I think he'll have a chance to do that. But I think Cuomo will be great. That would be a total curveball, but I think that would be dope. That would be dope.
I've actually said it out my mouth sometimes, just playing around when he's been speaking, and over the last few months during the COVID-19, and how he has New York City under control. I'm like, I have been saying, and not to knock Biden, but I've uttered the words President Cuomo a few times.
You know what? So many
he has said that he wasn't. He said he wasn't going to run. So I'm definitely feeling him and his platform and his the way he stands up, and he takes control. He's definitely a good leadership. I would totally back that. But since it's not that's not the case right now. We're dealing with women. We'll have to deal with what we have. But like I said, you guys should definitely go on to CNN.com. There's a list of all the women who are running, and you could probably go on there, get the list, go to Wikipedia, and probably YouTube and research, just so we know what's going on and we have more to talk about. But Root, did you have something to say? I'm sorry.
No, I just want to get to the next story really quick before our guest comes on.
Okay. I knew it was coming. Y'all president trying to delay the election. That's what you wanted to talk about?
Between that and his tweet, and I quote, "I am happy to inform all of the people living their suburban lifestyle dream that you will no longer be bothered or financially hurt by having low income housing built in your neighborhood." End quote. And I saw this on Facebook, and I always, as journalists and people who do shows like this, we have to always fact check. So I'm like, did he really say this? Although I wasn't totally shocked, but I just had to make sure. And sure enough, went to Twitter, and he actually tweeting this type of stuff. And for what reason, I don't know. At this point, he's pulling at straws because he's down in the polls a lot, and he's trying everything to stay alive. And to tweet something like this, and again, I'm living a suburban lifestyle, right?
Me too.
But like, I dare not frown upon anybody who's not. because
Right.
it took a lot to do this and to get here. But I know where I'm from, and I know being from New York City is a melting pot of all types of neighborhoods. So I grew up around all types of people, and it doesn't matter. And when you, as the president, man, there's just certain things you don't say. And that's what I was saying about the whole Nick Cannon situation. This guy can say anything, but Nick Cannon, you have to walk a fine line with what you say about certain situations. But he can go out and say any type of thing, and it's nothing. Even with Ellen DeGeneres, or what happened. Certain people can say stuff that you can't. Anytime you can say grab them by the peas and become the president a month later, something is wrong with this country. Something is wrong. This guy thinks he's above the law. He's talking about delaying the election. You don't have that power. And growing up as a child, I thought the president had all the power until I grew up and began to look at, the laws and things. But it's a reason why the president can't make all the decisions, because it would be a total dictatorship. And he would love it if he could.
Oh, he would love that. That's right up his alley.
But you
right
cannot.
Up his alley.
So the vote will happen on, what is it, the 3rd or the 4th in November, the first Tuesday. We're voting, and we need to get this cat out of here.
Here's the thing with that, though. What he did was he planted the seed because Congress does have the authority to push back the election. The thing is that the likelihood of that happening is slim to none.
Right.
But he's talking. Let's talk about his reasoning for wanting to push the election back, or at least the publicized reason for wanting to push the election back. He said that he wants individuals to be able to feel safe and come to the polls to feel and be safe.
Like Herman Cain was at his rally, and now he's dead of coronavirus.
Right, but yet my children are expected to go back to school in September.
Right.
That's what want them to go to the polls to vote out of safety.
Right. A walking contradiction, this guy.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, our guest has just arrived. So, Mr. Root, if you can go ahead and announce this general in the gospel industry.
Man, listen, he is a living legend. He is a graduate of Howard University. He graduated cum laude. I didn't even know that, but I'm not surprised. He writes songs that make the whole world sing. When we're all gone, these songs will live on. Center of My Joy. Oh my gosh. Total Praise.
Total Praise.
So that song is so intricate. So many people have jacked it up. I've been to churches. They're just like, no.
Everybody teaches that song wrong.
But I've heard it. I've heard some choirs really do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, just some of my personal favorites are some you may not even know, like Be Open, one of my favorite Richard Smallwood songs. You got to dig into the album to know these songs, and You Did It All. Ladies and gentlemen, living legend Richard Smallwood is joining Root Access Live.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Welcome. Thank you.
How are you, Richard?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for saying yes, man. You're another idol of mine doing this gospel music thing. With the magazine. I've always admired you. Just your pen. It's a few people, especially in gospel, that their pen is just like amazing. Walter Hawkins was one.
Yeah.
Marvin Winans is another one.
Yes.
And Donald Lawrence is another one. Yeah, and Richard Smallwood, sir, man.
Powerhouse.
You powerhouse. So I just want to thank you first and foremost for saying yes. And I had the pleasure of being at Rubenstein McClure's homegoing service just 2 days ago. Right. And John McClure has been my friend for at least a decade. And I knew, being from New York, I knew she was a powerhouse. But it wasn't until you put everything into perspective in that musical tribute, then I was just like, whoa, she was bigger than I even thought.
She was.
So can you talk a bit about how she would influence you?
Well, I just basically did the opening. My good friend Jonathan Nelson did all the music, which was amazing with all the artists. But I met Rubenstein in the 70s because I was a huge fan of Institutional Church of God in Christ. That choir was just, back in the day, they were the choir. They were before the Tommies and everybody. They were just amazing. And Bishop J.C. White has some of the most amazing lead singers in that choir. But Rubenstein was like, she stood out. She was I always said she was ahead of her time. And such a powerful anointing, such a powerful voice. So I met her probably somewhere in the 70s, which I've known her forever. I think I was probably in my 20s when I first met her. So I've been a fan of hers for a long, long time. And certainly it was a terrible, terrible loss. Unexpected and just gone too soon. And certainly continue to pray for her family, because I can't even imagine how, they must feel. But I thank God for who she was, and she blessed so many people. I know she blessed me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And today on Throwback Thursday, I'm at a radio station, and of course, we do throwbacks on Thursday. Mm-hmm. And I played Whitney Houston's version of "I Love the Lord," mm-hmm. and that was a newer version from a young lady called Bridget Hurt. Well, I think she did a phenomenal job on that song as well. And when you hear these songs, they're like timeless. So as one of the greatest songwriters there are, does songwriting come to you easy?
I wouldn't say it's easy. I have friends who write every day. I'm a very sporadic writer. My friend who was an amazing writer, the late Andre Crouch. Yeah. Andre would just sit down and write every day. Sometimes I'll go 3 or 4 years literally without writing.
Wow.
And it just sort of comes in spells. And I know I sort of know when it's time, and I'll just start taking everything I hear. Usually I'm not at the piano. I'm in the car. I'm in the grocery store. I'm in the airport. So I always keep my phone with me so I can put down the ideas. But when they start coming, they just start tumbling out, and I have to catch them so I won't lose them, But I've always been sort of I guess in the beginning, when I first started writing, I wrote much more often than I do now. But I'm sort of a sporadic writer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. If I wrote "I Love the Lord," that song was so old. I wrote it actually when I was in grad school at Howard. So that was around 75. I wrote "I Love the Lord."
Wow.
And I didn't know that Whitney grew up in Newark singing it as a teenager until she got ready to do The Preacher's Wife. And then, I found out about how this is one of her favorite songs. So thank God. I was honored. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, one of my favorite songs that you wrote was "Trust Me." That song, I think, has pulled me through many valleys.
Amen.
Many valleys, and I think people just don't write like that anymore. And I think I'm safe to assume that you didn't write that song just because it sounded good. You wrote that song from experience.
Oh yeah.
And so that's my question. How do you take your life experiences and put them into lyrics of songs?
I think that's where the majority of my music comes from. It comes from my experiences. Sometimes, if not my experiences, my family's experiences or close friends' experiences, that kind of thing. Trust me, my mom passed in 2005. I didn't write for 4 years, 3 or 4 years. It's about 4 years I didn't write. I just thought I wasn't gonna write no more. It was such a traumatic kind of thing to lose her. And I just was like, this is it. I've done all, I've written enough. I don't want to do it anymore. And in 2009, music just started coming to me. I wasn't trying to write. It just started coming to me. And Trust Me was, I think, one of the first songs that came to me. And it was like God was speaking to me and saying, Mom's okay. She's looking down on you. Trust me, I'm gonna get you through this, because the grieving process for me was a really, really long time. You really never get over it, but you learn how to live with it, So that was one of the songs that came to me first, and I really think it came out of my grieving process from my mom. And God was just saying, "Listen, I got your back. Just trust me." This is what I'm looking for.
Those words, I think of those words, and even now, the "I'll never leave you." Like when we hear those things all the time, right? Where "I'll never leave you nor forsake you," but it was just something about. It's like when I lay down at night, and through those seasons and when we all go through those times of our lives where things aren't going the way we want them to go. And I'm not just saying this because you're our guest tonight. It's on my Apple Music, and I shut everything out, and I literally just cry. I let it all out listening to that song, because I realize that's where I need to get. I need to get to the point that I can just relax and So I want to personally, you didn't know me when you wrote that, but you wrote that song for me. So I want to personally thank you for penning that song.
Oh, God bless you, man. God bless you.
Wow,
Man, that's encouraging to hear.
Wow. Now,
Absolutely.
I'm also an on-air personality at WIMG with Mr. Root as well. And I'm on Sunday mornings, and I feel like my job is to get folks ready for Sunday morning services. So it might be really cliche, but Total Praise is one of the ones that leads us to the worship. Now, there's two versions of it. There's an instrumental, or there's a Total Praise anthem. Did you know when you wrote this that it was going to be an anthem? Did you know that it was going to be this? Total Praise is just.
I wrote it. I had just signed with Verity Records in 1994. And they said, "We want you to do an album." And I want to do something different. So I had the Smallwood singers for years and years, about 15 years. I said, I want to put together an ensemble. So I put together the people who are now called Vision, who are my family and my right hand. I put them together, and one of the first songs I wrote was Total Praise. And I was going through quite a difficult time when I wrote that. My mom was ill. My god brother was terminally ill, and my mom went into foster care when I was about 19 years old. So she had foster kids. So they were like my brothers and sisters. One of my foster brothers had a complete mental breakdown. And so I was like caregiver for all these folk. I was going from the hospital to my house, to my mom's house, and it just became very overwhelming because you see the pain of your loved ones, you see what they're going through, and you just feel so helpless in terms of doing something for them, So all you can really do is be there. And I was sitting at my piano and just having a pity party kind of thing, and just saying, God, I want you to just, I was trying to write a pity party song. That's what I always tell people. I wasn't trying to write a praise song. I was trying to write a woe is me song. God, you see me down here, come dry my tears, hold me in your arms, and rock the pain away. And it just started metamorphosizing into this praise song. And I was, I talked to God. God is my daddy. So I talked to him just like he was down there. I was like, God, I love you, but I don't feel like praising right now. There's a whole lot going on, and he kept going towards this praise song.
Wow.
And it just sort of took a life of its own.
Okay. And
it just almost wrote itself. I think I wrote it maybe in about 30, 35 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
And when I finished writing, I just started to cry. And God just spoke to me and said, I feel your pain. I see your tears, but I need your praise. I'm going to get you through this, but give me an advance praise for what I'm gonna do. I got you. I got you. I got this.
Right.
And I know when I taught the vision, we had to end rehearsal that night. But that was 1996 when we recorded. I had no idea it was going to have the longevity or the popularity. I mean, I get videos daily from Italy, from Germany, from Norway, people singing in their native languages. I even got a video a couple of years ago from Samoa with them singing Samoan. I didn't know what Samoan was, you know. And I've gotten, you know, requests from my Jewish brothers and sisters, synagogues saying we love singing your song every Sabbath. So it seems to have no boundaries. It has no cultural boundaries, no boundaries, no language boundaries. I never knew that was going to happen. I'm in awe as it's over 20 years old and God is still, you know, doing what he does best.
Yes, and I'm still playing it like it was made, like it just came out yesterday. Total
Yeah,
praise and worship song. I love
As a
it.
matter of fact, I saw right before the pandemic, I was at an event at a synagogue and they sung it at a synagogue. To see that, to see blacks, whites, and Jews singing that song. I believe his name is Ozzy Swartz. It was at an event for Ray and Vivian Chu. It was amazing at a synagogue. And to hear that from a choir that was mixed with Jews, Gentiles, I mean, it was just amazing. So yeah, that your music transcends even religion. Ironically enough, you know, you're a pretty low key guy, and you wrote an autobiography, Total Praise.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, what you know, you being so low key, that's very personal. So what prompted you to write an autobiography?
I think it was a couple of things. The first thing was that I kept seeing stuff in print that wasn't true, you know, wrong dates. Well, he helped start Howard's Gospel Choir in this year, and it wasn't that year, and he did this in 1980 something. I was like, I need to write something. All the dates are right, all the times are right, where it happened, when it happened. So even if I'm gone, people can go through there and say, okay, this is when it happened. You don't have to read somebody else's experience of it. But that's how it started. And then I wanted to write a book about the music industry and about, you know, the industry and in terms of how some songs came to be, the difficulty it was for me in the industry, because I was told basically I couldn't write and I wouldn't be successful. And that kind of stuff, you know, on a young man's psyche, it's damaging, you know, and I started believing it. So I went through a whole bunch of stuff. And then, of course, I've been very vocal that I have dealt with anxiety and depression almost all of my life. And that's something that we don't talk about in the African-American community, especially African-American males. And we don't talk about it in the African-American church. It's such a stigma. So I really said, you know, God has given me this platform to do what I've been doing all these years. Why not take this platform and really talk about something that's close to my heart and let people know that there is hope? Because I think God gives us stuff to go through, not just for us to grow, but he gives it to us to help other folk.
Absolutely.
You know? And I know what depression is like, because I've been on the verge of suicide. You know, so I understand when people are crying out and in that state of mind. So I just decided to go in and just write an autobiography about everything in terms of where I came from and, you know, the way I grew up being poor and just everything, and talk about things like, you know, mental health and stuff like that, because that's very close to my heart.
Yeah, talk about not looking like what you're going through. I would not have believed that if I had not read about it, that you would be going, someone just as such as prominent as you, who seems to be always in a good spirit, who's always had positive remarks, to be going through something like that. I found that really hard to believe. But I'm glad that I'm sorry that you had to go through that. And I'm also glad that you got to the point, to the breakthrough where you were able to talk about it.
Yeah, it was hard. I was diagnosed with clinical depression in 1999. Although I had it before then, but I didn't know what it was. My mother used to say, "You're a moody child." That's why I was a moody musician. That's basically what it was. And I found out somewhere around there that Smallwood, the person who I thought was my father, was not my father. And I grew up thinking he was. Just a whole, my life story reads like The Color Purple. So it was a lot of stuff. I found out I had brothers 5 years ago that I didn't know that. I thought they were my cousins, and now I know they're my brothers. I mean, all kinds of stuff, you know. So, but it was hard to get to the point to really talk about the depression because there's an embarrassment that comes along with it, you know. And you know, I remember telling my psychiatrist once, I said, I feel like I'm a hypocrite because I get up and talk about, you know, I love the Lord and healing and all this kind of stuff, and then I come off the stage and go back to the hotel room, and there's a depression waiting. He said, Richard, what did God tell Paul when Paul said he had a thorn in his side? And I said, he said, my grace is sufficient. He said, yeah. He said, and God uses flawed people. If you look in the Bible, he never used anybody perfect.
Right.
He used the ones with, like David, who was majorly flawed. I mean, he used the ones that were murderers and adulterers and some of everything, you know. So that encouraged me. And one of my relatives, I have half brothers. My half brother's mom told me, she said, Richard, if you hadn't gone through the pain that you've gone through, you could write the kind of music that you write. And I never thought about that before. But a lot of that writing was coming from those things I was dealing with, even when I didn't know what it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can imagine. You know, you talked about, you know, depression, mental health altogether. It's not really talked about in the African American community.
No.
We talked about males, but also in the church.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely not talked about. And the reality is that there are a lot of people who are in leadership in the church.
Yes.
Who suffer from these kinds of things. And we feel like we can't be honest about them. You just alluded to that because you're like, I feel like I'm a hypocrite because I'm a pastor, right? So I lay hands on everybody, people getting healed, saved, set free, and delivered. But yet I got to hold on to my crutch or whatever I'm doing.
Absolutely.
You feel inadequate. You feel like you can't make it. You feel like you're living a lie. It's all this kind of stuff. And the reality is no, you just need to talk to somebody and get some help.
Absolutely. And the thing about the whole church thing is, and that we have grown up being taught, go to the altar, pray, speak in tongues, get up, and it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work that way. Just the way that God has given us doctors to help us with our hypertension, to help us with whatever diseases we have. He's given us ministers who help us through mental health. So there's nothing wrong with going to see a therapist or a psychiatrist. I've been on medication since 2000. You know, everybody doesn't have to go on medication, but I was that bad. My mother's father committed suicide. So it runs in my family, plus a whole bunch of the stuff that I went through growing up as a child and some of the environmental stuff that I had to deal with. So, you know, but I have no shame because I'm like, if not for the grace of God, I wouldn't be here. And so I believe that he's left me here, not only to do music, but to talk about things that are going to help other people, things that I've experienced, that I've come through, that has given me hope, that has given me strength. You know, why can't I talk about this to other people? So what the thing has been happening before the pandemic, you know, I started being called to do conferences on mental health, you know, and I loved it, you know, because I'm like, this is really helping people. And
Yeah.
when you start talking to audiences, you'd be surprised at the folk that are going through that are there sitting in front of you. As people start testifying and witnessing, yeah, I've gone through this. So it's amazing. So I'm really grateful to God that I went through it because of it, I can help other people. And I think that's what it's all about. It's about helping each other.
That's right.
Yeah. I think the church is embracing it a little more now as it pertains to mental health.
But that's
because it's
people in high profile positions have come out and they made it okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It okay to talk about. But if we're honest, all of us deal with it. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Whether you're on medication, you've been clinically diagnosed, all of us deal with depression, anxiety of some sort of another.
Yes.
All of us.
That's so true.
All of us.
Absolutely.
All right, Richard, there's a game that we play, especially with our musical guests. It's called Talk It, Sing It. So you know how sometimes you may hear a song with the music and you automatically know it. But if you just talk the lyric to somebody, that's just like, I know that song, but you hear it without the music and you may not know it. So it's a game we play. So I'm going to talk some lyrics and then you guess the song.
Oh, Lord, let me tell you, I am the worst with music. I never will forget, we were singing for Bernice King at Emory University, and I got up and forgot the entire verse to Center My Joy. I mean, it just went.
Oh, Lord, your own song.
Just went out the window. I was saying the chorus again. I said, y'all feel like hearing that chorus one more time? They were like, sing it. So I'm the worst with this, but I'll try.
All right.
Well,
all
this
right.
is definitely going to be fun for us.
Right? This is going to be real fun.
Oh,
all right. First song. Strolling in the park, watching winter turn to spring. Walking in the dark, seeing lovers do their thing. That's the time.
I feel like making love to you.
Come on now, who's the artist?
Roberta.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know, Roberta Flack was Richard Smallwood's professor at Howard.
No, she was my 8th grade music teacher in junior high school.
Wow.
That's what I meant to say.
One of those things that was quoted that was wrong, which is the reason why you wrote the book.
Right.
No, I think I mixed it up. I think I mixed it up because she went to Howard too, right?
She did go to Howard.
Yeah, I mixed it up, but I knew she was his educator.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Roberta Flack was Richard Smallwood's teacher.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
You two legends. I wonder if she knew you would be. You think was she one of your influences as a
certainly she was. She was very influential, in terms of, because I was what, 14, 13, 14, something like
13, about 13 probably.
Yeah, and she was I used to watch her play and say, God, I want to play like that. And I'd go home and try to emulate the things that she did. And the thing was so wonderful, I got one of the Legend Awards from the Stellars one year. They flew her in.
Yeah, I remember that.
Listen, it was all I could do to break down and just start crying because it was such a surprise. So yeah, she's definitely in the game.
Yeah, that's great. I got another song.
Okay.
All right. The first verse. The devil told me that I could not stand all the sins and the darkness that spreads throughout the land. Just look at the dark and the sins. Who will be able to escape? But the word of God showed swiftly to me, saying, God will make a way. The Lord said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. You must not doubt.
I have no clue.
You have no clue? All right, so that's Walter Hawkins' Full and Complete.
How would I not know Walter's song? Oh my God.
I'm telling you, if you had the music, you would know it off the bat.
Oh,
it's crazy when you don't hear it with music.
Yeah, if you just started with the chorus, I'd have probably got it.
you probably would have got it. Wow. All right, one last one. All right. Let's see if your hip hop skills.
Oh Lord.
All right. Here it is. The groove slightly transformed. Just a bit of a break from the norm. Just a little something to break the monotony. All of the hardcore dance that has gotten to be a bit of out of control. It's cool to dance.
When I tell you I have not a clue, listen, you talking to a 71-year-old man. He don't know a whole bunch about him.
Oh God, I was even singing it to see if the rest of these two would get
I
it.
was gonna say,
I'm trying, but I don't know that either.
My God,
I had-
Jinx is like a 71-year-old man sometimes too. Let me tell you. With some of these songs, I guess I'm the carnal one. It's it's the Fresh Prince "Summertime." Will Smith.
Oh, I remember that, but I never knew the words.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you hear the music and stuff,
Oh, now I got you. Okay.
Yeah, because
it's hard. I was playing it with my daughter, and I wasn't doing that great either. So don't feel bad. But look, you got 1 out of 3, Richard. That's not bad.
Okay. and this is the one that I should have got.
So look, I want to transition because we know that Sunday Best, and we know that this week coming up on Sunday Best, they're going to be spotlighting and highlighting a lot of your songs. Yes. What was that experience like, and how did that go?
Well, it airs Sunday, so I haven't seen it yet. But I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited. I usually watch Sunday Best every season, and I really like it because it really gives young people, different, because some of them are even older people, but they give them an opportunity to really be heard. Because even if they don't win, a lot of times it leads to things in their career, recording contracts and stuff. So it's a great exposure. So when they told me that they were going to, the challenge was going to be singing my songs, I was like, wow, that's really great. So I'm excited to see it. Actually, myself and Vision did a little virtual thing, which I hadn't. That whole thing is new to me, so I was like, "Wow, this is cool." Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, did you have any input on what songs they chose? Were you there as a?
No, I'm not sure if I imagine the producer probably picked the songs.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what songs they're going to do. So it's going to be a surprise to me, but I'm going to be in front of my TV front and center.
That's right.
It's going to be great. You know, you got an extensive catalog when you got a whole bunch of Sunday Best people doing your songs for the entire hour.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking in your background right now. I'm looking at your all the awards, and the reason you won them is because you sing and you play the piano. Are you sitting at the piano right now?
I am sitting at the piano, but
no,
but let me finish. For those some people know, a lot of people close to me know, I haven't played in about a year because I'm having problems with my hands.
Oh.
And I had an operation in 2019, and it didn't go like it should have. So I've got to go and have another operation this year on my fingers. So it started with something called trigger finger, when your finger bends and you can't open it. So they went and did an operation for that, but then they found out some rheumatoid arthritis and other things. So I haven't played in it's been over a year. So I'm praying that this next operation will bring my playing back, because I really miss it.
I know you miss it.
I started when I was 2 years old, So I don't know anything else. So I'm just praying. So y'all remember me in your prayers. I'm praying.
Absolutely.
I can go back to doing one of the things that I love to do so much.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but I wouldn't be Coco if I didn't ask you to play.
I understand. No, trust me.
That was good, Coco. That was good. I didn't even think about that.
Grand piano, but if I could, I promise you I would. I promise you I would.
Oh well, we're gonna keep
be playing, and you're gonna come back better than ever.
That's right.
Yeah, I believe that. Absolutely.
So, how have you been during this pandemic? It's been almost, over 3 months, and it's just like at a standstill. A lot of artists I talk to, they're actually, aside from the deaths and all of that,
Yeah.
They're saying it's been good for them because a lot of people have been on the road for so long and they haven't been able to just be at home and sit still. Is that the same for you?
You know, I've always been sort of, I guess, picky in terms of what I choose in terms of going on the road and stuff like that. So well, not at the beginning, I had to do it, but as I got older, I was like, I got to take some time for Richard, you know. So it's been. I told somebody earlier today that I think I've been rehearsing for this all my life because I'm a homebody. So I'm used to being at home. If I'm not on the road, you can find me at home. So being at home is not an issue. I'm losing so many people that I know and friends and loved ones who, thank God, had it, but they survived it. But it's a very scary kind of situation, you know, and I do miss being on the road. I do miss that, you know, being with my singers and all the fun that we have on the road, just being together because we're like a big family, you know. So I miss that and not being able to communicate with people and have an audience and that kind of thing. But I'm praying that, you know, it'll be over whenever God says it's over and we can get back to some semblance of normalcy, you know. I understand that Broadway is not even thinking about opening up to, I think, 2021.
Yep.
The end of 2021. You know, it's hard to say. I've been faring pretty well. In the very beginning, it was a little overwhelming, but I think I sort of got used to it. I talked to my psychiatrist a couple of times via Zoom.
Yeah.
But you know, it got better. And I'm really doing pretty good with it. I get my groceries delivered.
I know that's right.
I get everything delivered. Out. You hear me? I go get my mail. I take my dog out, and that's about it. I haven't been anywhere.
Wow.
So, you know, like I said, I'm a man of a certain age, and I have hypertension. All those things, like no. So I know I'm sort of at risk. So I just sort of stay away from everybody. I haven't even seen my family, and I miss them. I don't let nobody come to this house.
Wow.
And I need a haircut so bad. My hair is so long. It's like going down my back. And my barber, he usually comes to the house. I won't even let him in. So I'm just,
you're not playing.
I'm not afraid. I'm serious.
You know, that's smart though, because a lot of people didn't take it seriously, and some of those people, you know, unfortunately, have either, you know, gotten ill or even worse, have transitioned. Yeah. So it's important that we do use wisdom. You mentioned hypertension, and one of the things that we know is that this virus feeds on pre-existing conditions.
That's right.
And so I applaud you for having the discipline to understand that it's not time for you to be social.
It's not.
A lot of people didn't have that and don't have that discipline.
Absolutely. Yeah, yes, indeed. So, you know, I take care of myself. I stay safe. You know, I have Zoom. I have me and Vision had a Zoom meeting not long ago. See my friends, sometimes my best friends, and some other parts of my family get together. We have Zoom. It's not the same as being able to hug everybody, but it's better than nothing. You know. So,
right.
You know, I'm hanging in there with it. I'm hanging in there with it.
Good. We're a live show, and we do have people that are asking questions. You were able to answer some of the questions, especially the one about your singers. But Miss Thomasina Griffin would also like to know: are you still writing music? Have your creative juices started flowing since you've been alone in the house?
Yeah, I'm still writing. I haven't written during the pandemic. You know, the whole racial thing and police brutality has really been traumatic for me. And I had people say, well, write us a song, Richard. And I said, you know what, you can't really write when you're in trauma. I mean, because I think the things that I saw, you know, on videos, it disturbed me and hurt me so. That it took me down, and it was devastating to see the hate is just devastating to see. You know, and I came up to the 60s, you know, during the civil rights, you know, movement. I remember going to North Carolina, where my family's from, and seeing colored only on bathrooms, you know, and things like that when I was 4 and 5 years old, you know, and asked Mama, what does that mean? You know, but to see this still going on now, and it seems like because this being that's in the White House has exacerbated, and it seems like people are really, okay, if he's like that, then I'll talk about
That's
it.
right. That's right.
And so it's been very hard. And so I really haven't had the whatever it is that I get to write. I do, in the back of my mind, I really want to do recording that deals with this, that deals with injustice, that deals with that. But I know when God is ready for me to do it, he'll give me the music to do it. I have some ideas rummaging around in my head, but I just haven't done it yet. But I'm not through yet. I got some more stuff to write.
Yeah. Well, Richard Smallwood, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure to have you on. I know, you know, you don't do this often. So when I reached out to you and you swiftly responded, it was just like, wow. Oh my God. I feel like I arrived a little bit.
I appreciate you asking me, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your candor, and definitely as it relates to mental health.
Yeah.
Just thank you for being open regarding that, because again, it was taboo for so long.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're so open about it, and I appreciate that. So many people are dealing with that silently.
Absolutely.
Suffering in silence. I was talking to a friend of mine just yesterday. She said that her cousin committed suicide. This is a person with kids and grandkids. Shot herself in the heart.
Oh my God.
And she said they saw no signs. She just left. She sent text messages to her friends. I love you. Goodbye. To her son. Take care of my grandkids. And to her husband. And to top it all off, she was a first lady. Her husband's a pastor.
Wow.
So when you think of that, and somebody who's, you know, in church and of God doing something like this, it's not of them. And people seem to, you know, fail to realize that, you know, it's not, you're not in your right mind when you do stuff like that. So it's something internal that needs to be addressed in the church. Anytime you have pastors committing suicide and things of that nature. So thank you for being open about that.
And the thing is so many people deal with it, but because it's a taboo, you learn how to put on the face,
Right.
Yeah.
that everything is okay, and then it gets to that point where you just can't take it no more. You know,
Yeah.
She probably suffered for many years, and people didn't know it. You know,
People didn't know it.
That's why it's so important to talk about it and to try to get people help.
Yeah.
One more thing before we go. Are you using your platforms? Are you tweeting? Are you Facebooking? Are you Instagramming these days?
I stay on the internet.
Okay.
He does. He does.
My
About that.
godson got me hooked on Facebook back around 90 something, 98, 99, or something like that. Was it that thing? It was 2008, I think it was 2008.
Yeah, 2008, yeah.
Yeah, because before then it was
It was MySpace.
MySpace, yeah.
Planet.
I've always been, you know, I have an Instagram page, you know, and I'm on Facebook all the time. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all of them.
Okay, well, I just wanted you to I want you to be able to plug yourself so, you know, we can keep up with you. Everybody can keep up with you.
Right. Well, first of all, you can go to my I'm having a moment.
Your website? Your website?
You can go to my website,
Okay.
www.richardsmallwood.org, and all that information is on there. But my let me see, my Twitter is Richwood Music, MUZIK. My
Instagram is Small Rich.
Small Rich, yes. And my Facebook, just go to Facebook and type in my name, Richard Smallwood, and it'll come up.
Yes,
That's all I just wanted you to plug it a little bit so we could keep up with you. Because I love it.
Yep.
I
Ladies
love
and gentlemen,
Saints tweet and all that.
ladies and gentlemen, the legend Richard Smallwood, thank you again for joining us on tonight's Root Access Live. We appreciate you. and you are in our prayers. So you can play that tickle those ivories.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
God
Thank you.
bless you. Take care now.
Yep. Well,
Another
there you have
show.
it. Another one in the books.
Yes, sir.
I meant to wish you guys a happy anniversary last week. Last week was our 12th show. Our
Really?
3-month anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm thinking we're on like 7 or 8, but that's so dope.
Nah.
Feel
Yeah.
like
So happy
I
anniversary,
know.
guys.
Happy anniversary, guys. I gotta get y'all a gift, a pen or something.
That would be. How about you get us one of those mugs you drinking out of over there? Put
Oh, the
put
art
there
for
for access.
access. I got you.
All right.
I got you.
Before we close out, though, I do want to shed light on the on Congressman John Lewis. He was remembered today at his funeral service.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
Get a chance to talk about that on our hot topics, but I definitely don't want to sweep that under the rug. He definitely deserves
Absolutely.
acknowledgement. So we want to give a
President
moment.
Obama did an amazing job with the eulogy. So shout out to President Obama for
Absolutely.
continuing his public speaking and all that good stuff. He's an amazing man.
Our forever president.
For real.
Absolutely. Well, they did, Congressman. They did him away, right? They even took him across the bridge where he marched with Martin Luther King. And
The Edmund Pettus Bridge. Yep.
So now they should just change the name of it. That's the next thing we're waiting for, right? They're gonna change.
Well,
the
I'm
name.
hearing that's in the works.
Okay.
What
Well,
you say?
that's good.
They did change a school name to his or something, right?
They did last week, and it was I think we spoke about that on Hot Topics. It was named after a Confederate soldier, of course.
Yep.
Yeah. So big shout out to that school in Virginia. Yep.
Guys, that's about it. That about does it for us. It's been another great show with noble dialogue, decent vibes, excessive energy. Thank you all for tuning in, and a special thanks to Mr. Richard Smallwood for engaging and feeding us this evening.
Yes, great guest.
At 7 p.m. for more great conversation topics. Not sure who our guest is next week, but we might surprise y'all with something. Y'all have a
I'm
great
trying.
All right, y'all.
That's it.
Peace.